Also known as kettle drums, the timpani are one of the oldest members of the percussion section. In the modern orchestra, there are typically a set of 4 timpani drums played by one timpanist. Each drum is a different size and thus has a different register. Sometimes a 5th drum is used to extend the range higher or lower. The bowl of the drum is made of copper or brass, and the head of the drum is made from animal skin or plastic. One benefit to using plastic is that the head is not affected by humidity or change in temperature like animal skin is. If animal skin is used, the timpanist will have to check the tuning of their instrument multiple times during a concert. Early methods of changing the pitch of the drum were time-consuming. About 10 screws around the entire drum had to be tightened or loosened in order to adjust the tension of the drum and thus change the pitch. Around 1870, the pedal drum was invented, which allowed the timpanist to adjust the tension of the drum head very quickly using a foot pedal. All modern timpani drums have this pedal mechanism. It should be noted that the timpanist is a special type of percussionist that specializes in playing the timpani drums. In other words, the timpani are only played by a timpanist. The timpanist may sometimes help out with playing other percussion instruments, but other percussion players are very rarely allowed to play the timpani. Music for timpani is notated on a single bass clef staff. It is a non-transposing instrument and sounds as written. Here's the range of a standard set of 4 timpani drums. Each drum has a range of about a fifth. The dimensions given here are typical sizes, but these may vary slightly according to each instrument. With a 20-inch piccolo timpani drum, pitches up to C4 are possible. Mark the tunings for each drum above the staff at the beginning of the score, from lowest to highest. Here the timpanist would tune the drums to A, C, D, and G. Any tuning changes need to be marked as well. For example, to change the D to an E, you would notate D-E above the staff at the earliest possible place a performer could make the change. Another alternative is to notate an up or down arrow in between the pitches, and some prefer this method. You can also use scientific pitch notation, but this is less common. If there are multiple changes, write them one above the other from highest to lowest. Tuning changes are best during rests, but it is possible to change a pitch on one drum while playing on another. A good timpanist has acquired muscle memory and can adjust the tuning with his foot simply by feel. Still, it is safer to allow the player 1 to 2 seconds to tune orally. Tuning orally involves the timpanist placing their ear next to the drum and tapping it gently while adjusting the pedal. Complete silence is not needed to tune. In fact, tuning can even take place during a full tutti in the orchestra. Avoid writing tuning changes during very quiet passages so that the audience doesn't hear the timpani being tuned. The timpani are capable of triple P to triple F anywhere in their range. It takes roughly 3 to 5 seconds for a note to die away, depending on how hard the drum is struck. A timpanist can change the timbre of the pitch by hitting the drum in different places. The sweet spot where the tone is purest and most definite is about 6 inches from the edge. As you get closer to the center of the drum, the tone becomes less pure and less definite until it sounds more like a thud. The timbre can also be changed by using different types of mallets. Mallets come in soft, medium, and hard. The harder the mallet, the brighter the sound. The softer the mallet, the darker the sound. Wooden sticks are also sometimes used. If you know the exact hardness and material type you want to be used, indicate this in words above the notes on the staff. At the very least, you should specify hard mallets, medium mallets, or soft mallets. Whenever there is a change in mallet type during a piece, make sure that you give the performer enough time to make the switch. And if you do not indicate the mallet type, the tympanist will decide which type would be best suited for each particular situation. Here are some audio examples of mallet types. Medium mallet, hard mallet, then wood. One of the most idiomatic playing techniques for timpani is the drum roll. Rolls are similar to bowed tremolos on string instruments and should be notated in the same manner. For a complete discussion on tremolos and their notation, please see the lecture on tremolos under the section Playing Techniques for Bowed String Instruments. Before the 20th century, drum rolls were notated with the trill sign. To roll a single pitch, the timpanist will rapidly alternate two mallets on a single drum. Tremolos consisting of two different pitches are played on two different drums. Rolls typically have a cutoff stroke, which is the last stroke of the roll. Be sure to notate the length of the cutoff stroke. In this example, the cutoff stroke is a quarter note. The timpanist will have to stop the sound by placing their hand on the drum head at the quarter rest. Here's an audio example of a timpani roll. Playing single pitches is very common in timpani music, but it is also possible to play two pitches simultaneously using two drums. Since the timpanist has a mallet in each hand, they can strike two drums at the same time. Here is an example that involves a total of three drums, tuned F, C, F, played two at a time. By altering the pitch with the pedal, a glissando of about a fifth is possible on the timpani. They can be performed at any dynamic and can be ascending or descending. A glissando can also be performed while rolling. Here are some audio examples.